everybody, this is SaberX coming to you live with a brand new video review for the Beasts of the Mesozoic Ceratopsian series by Creative Beast Studio and David Silva. And today we are going to be reviewing the amazing Sinoceratops zhuchengensis. So here we are, there it is, and before we take a look at this figure, I just wanted to say, hey, my apologies for being absent for so long, but I had a few personal issues, none of which were bad in any way, shape, or form, but just needed addressing for the time that I was absent. And I am very, very happy to be back doing these reviews. So, without further ado, before we take a look at this phenomenal action figure, let's take a look at the packaging for it, shall we? So here we have the packaging for the Sinoceratops. And, yeah, absolutely stunning artwork by Raul Ramos, along with this beautiful cardboard diorama you can take out of the packaging and place behind the figure as necessary if you so choose to. And of course, on the back, you get these amazing factoids regarding Sinoceratops, and of course, you get your obligatory product list for Wave 3 ceratopsians within the Beasts of the Mesozoic toy line. And of course, inside the packaging, alongside the action figure, you also get this incredible collector card, also with artwork done by Raul Ramos. And of course, on the back you get a shot of the figure, same little factoids, and then you get the ever so important instructions. So, of course, you're going to need these to assemble the figure correctly. The tail comes separate, and you have to either heat it in hot water or blow on it with a hairdryer on hot settings. And, of course, I highly recommend the hairdryer because it is more effective overall than the hot water is. So, there you have that. Now, let's get on to the figure itself, shall we? So here we have the Sinoceratops, and this is absolutely one of my favorites, if not number 3 in regards to my favorites for the Wave 3 ceratopsians for Beasts of the Mesozoic. It is absolutely one of my favorite ceratopsians for the entirety of the ceratopsian toy line. But yeah, absolutely phenomenal. And you might recognize Sinoceratops from the Jurassic Park franchise, but it's a very, very different animal compared to what you see in the movies. They actually based the Sinoceratops' design more off that of Pachyrhinosaurus, but this right here, this is closer to what we know about the real animal. Not the Jurassic Park figure, not the Jurassic Park animal, but this. This is the real Sinoceratops, not the other one. or as they like to say in The Emperor's New Groove, not this, not this, this, not this, this. Winner, loser. But anyway, Sinoceratops is an absolutely incredible figure within this toy line. And yeah, they based the coloration for it off the rare and endangered lizard known as the Chinese crocodile lizard, which is an amazing animal that you can keep as a pet. They do captive breed those particular lizards, and they are critically endangered in the wild. There's only like 900 of them. So I think this was a great call for David Silva to make a figure whose coloration is based off that particular lizard. One, it's a very cool looking lizard, and two, it is an endangered species which really needs protection to survive. So I think that's a great way to draw attention to to the lizard, whether it's direct or indirect. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous figure. I mean, look at the coloration on that. I mean, the eye spots on the frill, the white fading into the green, and the orange-brown with the cream underneath. I mean, this is definitely one of the coolest designs I've ever seen. I mean, yeah, and I love the ridge spines. Well, the scoots down the center of the back, I should say. Absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, and of course he has a longer tail than most of the other Wave 3 ceratopsians, just because their tails are so highly variable. But yeah, absolutely phenomenal figure. I mean, look at the paint job. Interestingly enough, there is a little bit of a mishap with this eye, but I like to think that this ceratopsian had an eye injury that he recovered from, and he can still see out of his eye. But that's just me and my headcanon talking. And sometimes I like to come up with backstories for the animals. But yeah, absolutely love this. I mean, just the amount of work and detail that went into it. This is high quality. There aren't any other types of dinosaur figures that come anywhere close to this. Not anything. Not the old Resaurus superposable dinosaurs. Not any of the Carnegie Collection figures or the Jurassic Park figures. Nothing comes close to that on this scale. This is the beasts of the Mesozoic are really the epitome of the dinosaur action figures. These are the best of the best. No, hands down, they are. Now, in regards to articulation, Sinoceratops can open his mouth like so. Yeah, and it's hard to see in here, but he does have opposable tongue. It doesn't have as much movement as the rest just because of how narrow his jaws are, but he does have an opposable tongue. He can move his head up about this much, down about that much. Not really big on the downward movement, but he can also pose his head right and left like so. The shoulders have a full 360-degree rotation, though I don't recommend it simply due to the clearance issues from this area here on the shoulder socket. His elbows can move that far forward, this far back, so he can get almost a 90-degree angle there. He does have wrist movement, and his wrists can swivel on both legs. So, for the other leg, it's pretty much the same. Yeah, in other words, second verse same as the first, and all that loveliness. Now, in regards to his torso, he can move it up. He's got a very tight torso. Oh, just so you know, so I don't really do that all that much. He can move it down, and he can move it left and right, like so, though I don't recommend it too much just because of clearance issues with the hind legs. Hind legs themselves can go a full 360 at the hip. The knee can bend about, yeah, actually that's about as far forward as they can bend. But he can bend his knee about that much right there. So, not quite 90 degrees, but pretty close. You can also move the ankles. The ankles on mine are quite tight for the figure, so I'd be very careful about that. And if you need to loosen up the joints, do use a hairdryer. It's going to save you a lot of agony, and it's also going to save you a lot of issues that might result in the breaking of your figure. I've seen that happen before to other people who have gotten this. gotten these figures, and if you don't want to have those same troubles, definitely use a hair dryer to loosen up their joints. And it's just going to soften the plastic, make it easier to for you to bend the joints in a way that'll get them more flexible and loosen them up a little bit. But yeah, so he can move his ankles about that far forward on both feet. He can move them back about this far. So not the best ankle movement, but doesn't really matter, honestly, because you can still pose him significantly. And of course, the feet do have swivel movement, and they can move up and down like so. The tail itself only has one joint, and that is in the base of the tail. And of course, it can move left, or rather right. It can move left, it can go up, and about that far down. So very, very nice articulation, and I really look forward to playing with this figure a bit more, just to loosen up his joints a bit. But yeah, he's absolutely incredible. I mean, honestly, definitely one of my favorite ceratopsians. Now, in regards to facts about the actual Sinoceratops, this is actually based on the real fossil finds from China. But Sinoceratops basically was found near the city of Zhucheng in southern China, and it was found in the zhuchengensis formation in Shandong province in China, of course. And interestingly enough, it is the only large ceratopsid from Asia, and it is also a member of the Centrosaurinae, the ceratopsians that are more closely related to Centrosaurus and Styracosaurus, and contain all those different ceratopsians like Pachyrhinosaurus as well. And what's interesting about this animal is that it lived during the last part of the Cretaceous, so right around the Maastrichtian stage, which is about the same time as the dinosaurs go extinct. So the last, like, 2 to 3 million years, if that. Sinoceratops would have been contemporaneous with Shantungosaurus, which is a giant hadrosaur, as well as the Tyrannosaur, Zhuchengtyrannus, which would have been its main enemy. It also happened to live alongside the small leptoceratopsian zhuchengensis. But very, very interesting assortment of animals in that area. And the Zhucheng dinosaurs, there's still a lot of research going on in regards to fossil finds there, so we don't really have a great idea beyond many of these large animals what was living in the area at that time. We do have dinosaur eggs from the zhuchengensis formation, but we don't really have many small dinosaurs described from there either. So not the most detailed assortment of fauna, but the research is ongoing. So we still have to figure out what is going on and why the assortment of fauna is the way it is in that area. Now, in regards to why Sinoceratops was the only large ceratopsid in Asia at that time, nobody's really quite sure of that either. At some point in their evolution during the Campanian stage of the Cretaceous, around maybe 75 to 80 million years ago, something happened where the Centrosaurines started migrating toward Asia, and yeah, for whatever reason, when the Campanian stage of the Cretaceous ended around 70 million years ago, Sinoceratops was one of the last of the centrosaurs living anywhere in the world. The Chasmosaurine ceratopsians had taken over in North America, and it seemed like the centrosaurines had gone extinct, and nobody's really quite sure why. That we still need to figure that out. It could have been climate change, it could have been the arrival of new predators that might have put them at a disadvantage. It could have been that a certain type of food that was no longer available caused a decline in centrosaurs in North America until they went extinct. No one is really quite sure, but yeah, it's very, very interesting. And I really want to know why this is. Now, in regards to its relationships to other ceratopsians, as I said before, it is a member of the Centrosaur family, and specifically, it is most closely related to Wendyceratops within the family itself. So here is Wendyceratops for comparison, and as you can see, for one thing, Sinoceratops is a lot bigger. It's actually one of the largest centrosaurs that we currently know of, at about 20 to 21 feet long. Wendyceratops was, you can tell they're related, and mainly by the fact that they have, these similar looking horns on the frill. But, just a very, very interesting thing that Wendyceratops and Sinoceratops are basically each other's closest relatives, but at the same time they're living in two different parts of the world. So something definitely went on in regards to their evolution, where centrosaurs succeeded in surviving in Asia, where they did not survive in North America at the end of the Campanian stage of the Cretaceous. Nevertheless, it is fascinating to think about. Now, in regards to length and height, this figure for Sinoceratops is about 16 inches from the end of his beak to the tip of his tail. Now, in height, he is about 7.5 inches, I would say, give or take. And it is just an incredible figure. Price-wise, this particular ceratopsian is one of the more expensive Wave 3 figures, but definitely not the most expensive, not like the adult Triceratops and the Torosaurus, which I am going to be getting next. He would on Creative Beast Studio, where you can buy this particular figure, as well as in places like Big Bad Toy Store and other legitimate toy selling businesses. This figure is about $89. With shipping, is about $104. But yeah, if you can and save up to get him, I would highly recommend you do so. This is definitely one of the coolest ceratopsians out there. Plus, it's been made famous by Jurassic Park, so you can say, hey, with utmost certainty that you got a Jurassic Park dinosaur, even if it's from Creative Beast Studio, because regardless of what the figure looks like, this is the animal made famous by Jurassic Park, or rather specifically Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom and Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, among other things. So yeah, I can't tell you how much I love this figure. I am stuttering and stammering just because I am still in awe of this toy after getting it, and I'll be honest, I love it! He's one of my favorites! But yeah. So this is Saber Rex saying to you, you're never too old to play with toys. Hey, be a toy nerd, be proud of it. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more content from me. Thank you, and have a good day.